Commander Zara stood at the viewing deck of her crystalline fortress, watching the strange ship approach through the void of space. The vessel was unlike anything her people had ever seen before. Its hull was rough and scarred, bearing the marks of countless battles and long journeys through hostile territory. Yet it moved with purpose, cutting through the cosmic darkness toward her sacred citadel. For 3,000 cycles, Zara had ruled this sector of space. Her people, the Luminari, were known throughout the galaxy as master warriors and builders of impenetrable fortresses. No enemy had ever breached their defenses. No alien species had dared to approach their holy citadel without permission. Yet here was this unknown craft moving steadily toward her domain. The ship was small compared to her massive citadel, but there was something about it that made Zara feel uneasy. Her pale blue skin shimmered with nervous energy as she watched through her advanced sensors. The craft bore markings she did not recognize, strange symbols that seemed primitive yet somehow elegant in their simplicity. Her lieutenant approached with careful steps, knowing better than to startle his commander when she was in deep thought. The young Luminari, male, had served under Zara for many cycles and understood her moods well. "The ship requests permission to dock, Commander," the lieutenant reported. His voice carried the musical quality typical of their species, but underneath was a note of concern. "They claim to be explorers from a world called Earth." Zara turned her luminescent eyes toward him. Earth was not in any of their star charts. She had studied the maps of known civilizations extensively during her rise to power. This was either a lie or these beings came from beyond the explored regions of the galaxy. Both possibilities were disturbing. "What do they want?" she asked, her voice carrying the authority that had made her the youngest commander in Luminary history. "They seek an audience with you, Commander. They say they come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations." The lieutenant paused as if unsure whether to continue. "There is something else, Commander." "Speak." "The being who contacted us spoke our language perfectly. It knew protocols that only high-ranking Luminari should know." This information sent a chill through Zara's spine. No outsider had ever learned their sacred language, let alone their diplomatic customs. Her people were extremely secretive about such matters. How could these Earth creatures know what they should not know? "Allow them to dock," she commanded finally. "But maintain full security protocols. I will meet with their leader in the lower chamber. Have our best warriors ready, but keep them hidden." As the strange ship settled into the docking bay, Zara made her way through the winding corridors of her citadel. The walls glowed with soft light that responded to her presence, a sign of her deep connection to this place. She had built this fortress with her own hands using luminary technology that could reshape matter at the molecular level. The lower chamber was a place of great significance in luminary culture. It was where all first meetings between peoples took place. The room was circular with a domed ceiling that displayed the stars above. Their sacred symbols covered the walls, telling the story of their civilization. Zara positioned herself in the center of the room, wearing her formal robes of deep purple that marked her as a commander. Her silver hair fell in waves past her shoulders, and her pale skin seemed to glow with inner light. She was tall even by Luminari standards, and her presence commanded respect from all who met her. The doors opened with a soft hiss, and Zara felt her breath catch in her throat. A human walked into her citadel. She had heard rumors of these creatures from traders who claimed to have seen them in distant sectors. Short-lived beings with strange emotions and unpredictable behavior. But seeing one in person was entirely different. The human was male and smaller than herself, but he moved with confidence that surprised her. His skin was darker than hers, and his hair was black. His clothing was simple but well-made, and he wore no weapons that she could detect. Yet there was something about him that spoke of hidden strength. Most shocking of all, he walked directly toward the center of the room without hesitation. This was behavior that should have been impossible. No alien species had ever understood luminary customs well enough to approach a commander correctly on first meeting. Yet this human moved as if he had done this 1,000 times before. He stopped at the exact distance required by protocol and performed a greeting gesture that made Zara's heart race. It was a formal bow that only high-ranking luminari used when meeting equals. The angle was perfect, the duration precise. It was a greeting she had only seen performed by her own people. My name is Jake Collins, the human said in flawless luminari. I come from the world called Earth on behalf of my people to seek friendship with the mighty luminari. Zara stared at him in shock. How did he know their language? How did he know their customs? And most importantly, how did he dare to greet her as an equal when no alien had ever been granted such status? You speak our tongue, she said finally. How is this possible? Jake smiled, and the expression was warm in a way that made something flutter. In Zara's chest, my people have been watching and learning. We have great respect for the luminari and your achievements. We hoped to one day meet you as friends rather than strangers. This was impossible. Her people maintained strict security around all their territories. Their language had never been shared with outsiders. Their customs were sacred secrets. Yet here stood this human demonstrating knowledge that should not exist. Who taught you our ways? Zara demanded, stepping closer to him. Her height advantage should have made him nervous, but Jake remained calm. We learned by observing and studying, Jake replied. We spent many cycles watching from afar, trying to understand your people before we dared to make contact. We did not want to offend or make mistakes that could lead to conflict. The honesty in his voice was unsettling. Zara had dealt with many species over the years, and most lied when it served their purposes. But this human seemed genuinely sincere. His strange eyes met, hers without fear or deception. Why come here, she asked. Why seek us out when so many other species fear the luminari? Because we recognize greatness when we see it. Jake said, your people have built something beautiful here. Your technology, your culture, your achievements in art and science. We hope to learn from you and perhaps share what we have learned as well. No one had ever spoken to Zara this way before. Other species either feared the luminari or tried to use them for their own purposes, but this human seemed genuinely interested in mutual respect and learning. Show me what you have learned, she commanded. Jake reached into his clothing and withdrew a small device. Zara tensed, ready to call for her guards, but Jake moved slowly, showing that he meant no threat. He activated the device and a holographic display appeared between them. The image showed star charts, but not like any Zara had seen before. These maps showed connections between worlds, patterns of trade and communication that spanned vast distances. What amazed her most was that the maps included luminary territory, marked with symbols that showed clear understanding of their strategic importance. We call this the network, Jake explained. Human ships have been exploring for generations, building connections between different peoples. We believe that cooperation makes everyone stronger. Zara studied the maps with growing fascination. The human understanding of galactic politics was sophisticated far more than she had expected. Their network included species she had heard of but never contacted. It was an impressive achievement for such a young civilization. How long have your people been traveling between stars? She asked. About 200 of your cycles, Jake replied. We are young compared to most spacefaring species, but we learn quickly. 200 cycles. Zara was shocked. Her people had been spacefaring for over 5,000 cycles, yet these humans had accomplished so much in such a short time. You said you come seeking friendship, Jake Collins. What does your people offer in return? Jake deactivated the hologram and looked directly into her eyes. We offer our loyalty, our knowledge, and our friendship without conditions. We do not seek to conquer or control. We seek to understand and grow together. The simple honesty of his words hit Zara harder than any weapon could have. In her long life, she had dealt with countless species and their representatives. They always wanted something: territory, resources, technology, or submission. But this human asked for nothing except the chance to build mutual respect. Something was happening inside her chest, a feeling she had never experienced before. Jake's presence in her sacred citadel should have felt like violation. Instead, it felt like the missing piece of a puzzle she had not known was incomplete. Tell me about Earth, she said, sitting down on one of the curved benches that lined the wall. Jake sat across from her, maintaining the respectful, distance, but his posture was relaxed and open. Earth is a blue world, Jake began. His voice took on a warmth that made Zara want to hear more. We have great oceans and green lands, mountains that touch the sky and valleys filled with life. Our people come in many forms and colors, but we share the same hopes and dreams. As Jake spoke, Zara found herself imagining this distant world. The way he described it made it sound beautiful and diverse, unlike the crystal cities of her own homeworld. She had always thought luminary civilization was perfect, but listening to Jake made her wonder what they might be missing. "What are your people like?" she asked. "We are curious," Jake said with another one of those warm,